Hey guys, this video is dedicated to Smooze Loss, who is a YouTuber here also partaking in the Shea Loss Challenge. He has a few weight loss goals and a few goals trying to cut down on smoking. And as some of you guys know, my subscribers know, that I used to be a smoker. I used to buy packs and smoke at least a few a day, sometimes half a pack or whatever, sometimes at parties even closer to a pack. But I am down now. I haven't completely cut it out of my life 100%, but I'm down to maybe a puff once or once every 2 weeks. Basically, when I'm out drinking with my friends, my friend might offer me a puff off a cigarette, or I might ask. So I still smoke a little bit, but I'm down to one puff every week or one puff every 2 weeks, and the next morning I don't feel guilty about it and go out and buy a pack and feel like I failed. It's just a little treat, I guess, I give to myself. But anyway, I've been watching his channel and I know he's been struggling a little bit with cutting down on smoking, so I thought back to what are a few things that I went through that may be able to help him, and not only help him but help other people who might be watching this video. So I thought about the concept of being in control, getting control over your addiction. And this concept, of course, can go beyond smoking. It could go with food addiction or any other goals that you are trying to go towards. Now with smoking, I found the first thing that I needed to do was get into control. So a lot of people, what they do is when they're smoking a pack or half a pack a day, the first thing they'll do is try to quit cold turkey. They say, tomorrow I'm going to quit smoking and not have another cigarette for the rest of my life. Now this rarely works, because when you decide to quit, you're usually in a really good mood, or you just had enough, and you smoke cigarettes that day. You're not realizing how hard it's going to be without smoking at all. That's the main problem. So they set a goal to smoke 0 cigarettes for the rest of time. The next day it gets really hard. They might be able to do it a day, and then the next day comes and you buckle down, you break in. It's really hard to quit smoking, so you're likely going to start smoking again, and then you feel like you failed, and then you just go all out and start smoking again. And you're not accomplishing any goals that you set out for yourself. Now my way of thinking is you don't have to completely cut out cigarettes, but you need to get into control. So what you can do is set some goals, like maybe for the first week say, okay, I'm smoking about a pack a day. I usually smoke whenever I feel like smoking. I smoke when I wake up, I smoke after I eat, I smoke after I have coffee, I smoke in my car. I just smoke whenever I feel like it without really thinking about it. But if you set a few goals, like say you're smoking a pack a day, you could set a goal to say, okay, for the next week my maximum is half a pack. So you're not completely cutting out, you still get to hold on to your addiction a little bit longer, but by setting this standard you kind of have to pay attention a little bit more and get into control. Another thing is kind of pay attention every time you're having a cigarette. Kind of pay attention to your own feelings and what you're feeling. And maybe even once, when you're feeling that cigarette, kind of pay attention to when you are feeling that urge to smoke a cigarette. For me, I call these triggers, or a lot of people who talk about addiction call these triggers. Every time I went into my car, immediately, didn't think about it, I just pulled out a cigarette. Every time I had a coffee, I felt like having a cigarette. A lot of people like to have an after meal smoke, so after they eat, they automatically just pull out a cigarette. So when these triggers come up, for a few of them, maybe cut down by saying, okay, I'm not going to smoke whenever I go into my car. And you might smoke later that day, but you'll notice that after you don't have that smoke in your car, you'll start to feel anxious. And you'll realize this is just a feeling that you're going to have to start fighting against. Now, it's going to be hard. If you quit cold turkey, you have to fight all of this anxiety at once, and eventually your body will just run scared, and you start feeling really weird. You don't feel like yourself because you're used to having cigarettes, and you'll just run back to smoking cigarettes. But if you just do it in small increments, like, okay, I'm not having my after coffee smoke or whatever, and pay attention to what that feels like to not have it, then you'll be more, I guess, suited when you're cutting down a lot more. Does that make sense? If you're able to start fighting that little anxiety, it's almost like building a muscle. Every time you fight this little bit of anxiety, you get more used to being able to fight that anxiety. Sort of like when you work out, you don't say, okay, I'm going to lift 200 pounds a day from not working out at all to going to 200 pounds. Say you had a goal to be able to lift 200 pounds. You can't just go your first day and say, tomorrow I'm going to lift 200 pounds, and then when you can't do it, say, I can't do it. I guess I'll try again tomorrow. Then the next day you try to lift 200 pounds and you can't do it, and you're just like, what's wrong with me? And you completely give up. You have to start out by lifting 50 pounds. And as you're able to lift those 50 pounds, you go up to 60 pounds. So I guess that's my word of wisdom. Once you start to get into control, once you realize, hey, I could smoke less than half a pack. That's way better than what I've been doing before, because I used to smoke a pack all of the time. Once you get down to half a pack, maybe a couple weeks later, you say, okay, my maximum is 10. So once you get used to being able to smoke less than 10, just like start slowly cranking it down. So you kind of go down with your comfort level. It's a process. Like quitting smoking, I find, is a process. Some people can quit cold turkey and they go through all of the withdrawal symptoms and just do it all in one run. But if this is something you've tried over and over and over again, then you're almost lying to yourself at this point, because you've already said, okay, I'm quitting today, I'm quitting tomorrow, this is my last day. You said that so many times, you know in your mind that you've lied to yourself so many times that it's probably just going to happen again if you try to quit cold turkey from quitting a crap load and don't have any experience in trying to quit before, if that makes sense. Alright, I rambled on enough. Peace.